All right, this is the most fun. The most fun. Joining me now is my hero, Greg Gutfeld, host of Gutfeld and co-host of The Five on Fox. Thank you, first of all, for coming on.
I screwed up. I usually, before I do your show, I will tweet. And I have to do that. And since I can talk to you while I have to tweet to say that I'm on your show so that we could bump up your ratings and crush everybody at 4 o'clock.
I love this.
You know what I mean?
I love this.
You know what I mean? So this is amazing.
Right.
This whole reaction, hold on Kudlow.
This is the first live tweet.
Yes, on
live
Kudlow.
Tweet. I gotta love this. I just love this.
Not wearing pants. How about that? That'll drive it. Not wearing pants. I accidentally tweeted yesterday because I was in my pocket and it just said, "Okay, yes." And nobody knew what that meant, and I had to delete it. So that was a real one. Did you notice that this reaction is completely untethered to reality?
Well, that's the thing. That's why I think there's going to be a run on Xanax going on here.
It's all, and the thing is, it's all performative in one way, but in the other way, their hand got caught in the cookie jar. They've had this for so long. I used this analogy before on The Five that basically they used Twitter like it was their favorite restaurant. Oh. They got the best seat at the best table, could hang out, and now they're going to let the riffraff in. You know? And it's like, oh, no.
Meaning
not the press.
The free speech conservative.
Yeah. Or just anybody. Because remember, all the elements that you mentioned that were censored or buried were things that people were interested in, like parental rights and stuff like that.
I've never seen, but it's a long list. I mean, it took me 15 minutes to read that list on my opening riff. In fact, it was the bulk of the riff, all the things that have been denied on Twitter. And by the way, the others are no better. Facebook is no better. Google's no better. Apple's no better. But it's more fun to deal with Twitter.
Did you see is it Ari Melber?
Ari Melber.
Yeah, when he said that, you know, he's worried that with Elon Musk in charge, they might start hiding viewpoints and amplifying other ones and burying stories. And I'm thinking, like, where was he for the past 5 years? Or does the New York Post ring a bell? Hunter Biden's story, that was entirely the work of pre-Elon Musk Twitter. Pre-Elon Musk Twitter is scared right now because they used to have control of the narratives. Now they don't.
Is this the biggest story right now in the country?
I think it is. I think it's a big story.
Or close to it.
Even if you're not, I think if you're watching this show and you don't use Twitter, you might not understand why this is a big story. The reason why this is a big story is because here's the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC.
CNN Plus.
CNN Plus.
Sorry.
R.I.P. Should be CNN R.I.P. Plus. But what do all those producers and media types do first thing in the morning to get their narrative fill, to get their shot of dopamine? They go onto Twitter. So Twitter is small by comparison of other social media giants, but it's the one that everybody goes to get their storyline. And that's why it's better that Elon Musk owns that than any other media outlet because he controls the addiction. He's got the drug. So it's like when the producer for CNN is looking for something to bash cops on or something that it goes to Twitter. And then what happens is the drug might not be there. Or the drug could be there, but it's got an antidote. So the drug has its counterpoint. So it's like, let's say you have an anti-cop narrative, but right up next to it comes the statistics that show you that it's police officers that are getting shot now, not just, I don't know, criminals.
Is Elon Musk the biggest character, the biggest persona right now in American news, but America in general?
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's bigger than life. He's bigger than Twitter. He's bigger than the planet. He's bigger than everything.
You must remember this because we're roughly the same age, give or take a decade. Howard Hughes, growing up, when I was a kid, do you remember Howard Hughes? And do you remember how people go, he's a millionaire? Remember your parents would go, your dad would go, see that man right there? He's a millionaire.
That's right.
Yeah, and it was always millionaire. And this is kind of different because we have new technologies and we have new platforms. So we actually, we didn't know a thing about Howard Hughes. We know a lot about Elon Musk because we see him and he's not afraid. By the way, Twitter doesn't need their marketing arm anymore. All he's going to do is tweet.
I know.
He's just going he doesn't have a marketing department at Tesla, I don't think.
So Musk is putting everyone to rep. Elon Musk, I had some dealings with him in the White House. I don't know him very well at all. it just seems to me, watching him with all these, he doesn't care what you say about him.
Yeah.
He's just forging ahead, doing brilliant things, right? Electric cars and spaceships.
How ironic is that?
And Twitters.
That the one thing that he does that the left should be going like this to him is electric cars. And he turns out, he's like, well, there's another side to me. And you got to accept all of Elon.
But he's totally cool because, yeah, he's making electric cars, but he also said we should produce more oil and gas.
Yes,
to get inflation down. How cool is that?
He's got an amazing kind of stack of talents. So he's not completely like off in one direction. He's pragmatic. He's real. He lives in the real world. He also believes, as do I, that we live in a simulation. That's something you should look into.
Simulation.
A simulation that this is all basically the creator of somebody else. Like we are part of a computer program, which he believes. Not necessarily a computer program, but a program.
Is that our higher power?
Well, it could just be that he's high.
Is this
He could.
You're going to put me on Gutfeld and give me this question?
Exactly.
Right.
No, we talk about simulation, but he's into the simulation. He's an interesting dude, and he's immune to embarrassment, which is like what Trump had. You know, it's like when he doesn't care what people think because he's not judging them, and they don't, and therefore he doesn't allow them to judge him. And I think that's an important power.
He has single-handedly put free speech back on the table. You know, he hasn't done it really as a conservative. He's done it as someone who believes in free speech. He's really a libertarian when you try to find a philosophy here. It's not left versus right. He said, I hope my critics stay on Twitter just as much as the followers. I mean, I think that's very cool. I think people really like this attitude.
Yeah, it's funny because even when he said that, one of his critics, who's a psycho, Taylor Lorenz, was going, "Well, this won't age well." It's like he just knows exactly. What he's done is he's like the that hotel flashlight that exposes the people that are anti-free speech. Right. Just with the people that are maddest at him are scared of losing their power because other people are joining in the conversation. Kyle Smith said something, I don't know if it was in an article,
in
New York Post
today.
And he had a great line. He said that this could have all been caused by the Babylon Bee being banned. Like, you know, he likes Babylon Bee. He reads it. Elon Musk, he goes on, it's not on anymore. It's like, what? Where is it? Got banned off Twitter? And then he just like, when he finds that out, like an hour later, goes, should I buy tweets? Should I buy Twitter?
Are you on Twitter?
Yes. Of course, I just tweeted.
Oh, that's right, at the beginning of the show.
Oddly enough,
I just tweet. Maybe we should just emphasize it.
Let's see. But you know, what's weird is I went from 1.
Tweet on the show.
There you go. I broke new ground. I went from 1.7 million yesterday to 1.8 million. That's unheard of because something's going on there. I don't know what they changed on the algorithm, but let's see. I hate it when I get texts. I've been retweeted 50 times. That's pretty good.
Is Elon Musk ending the era of woke?
I think that when you're seeing it coming up from all areas.
Serious question.
Yeah, but I think.
I mean, you mentioned before we started Disney.
Yeah.
The demise of Disney, the demise of CNN Plus.
Yes. I think that my show has something to do with this, and we were the first show to come out to go after cancel culture. And I've been writing about that since I wrote the book Joy of Hate, which was about people targeting people online. I think that in that space, I've been there. I think what DeSantis, is standing up to wokeness. I think Elon Musk. I think it's Joe Rogan. So I think it's a number of people, and that's a good sign because it says that it's bubbling up from all over, which is kind of a stronger sign that we've had enough of this stuff, and we're going to go back to being adults again.
Who's going to take over Facebook? Somebody's got to buy out Facebook. And by the way, I like this. You know why? I'm a capitalist. I love the Gilded Age. I think these great entrepreneurs saved the country. They didn't do it by government intervention. They did it by free market capitalism.
Yeah.
They just, got their little pocketbooks together and bought the thing out.
Yeah, I love
it. We buy out Facebook and Meta. We buy out all these goofball things.
I love it when people were. I'm so tired of billionaires buying things. These things are worth over $1 billion. Who's going to buy them? It's like, I don't own the Pittsburgh Steelers for a reason. I don't have the money. So when they go, another billionaire buys a social media, that's because it's worth that much money. You can't buy it. Not yet, anyway.
I'm working on it.
Yes. Yeah.
I've stopped smoking, and I put my savings in a little tin box.
That's so good. You should start vaping.
By the way, did you have a good or bad Earth Day? I wasn't on. Last year I was on the show for Earth Day. And It was a bad Earth Day. This year I felt so lonely.
I know. You know what? I just went outside and I found a tree. And I just hugged it. I gave it the best hug I could. And then Human Resources contacted me and said that I had hugged the tree too long and that the tree was filing charges.
But you know what? All that woke thinking may have just ended with Elon's Twitter purchase.
I don't know.
Woke could be dead.
They're going to come after him. They're going to do an expose on him and Netflix.
Oh, they're going to kill him.
Yeah, they're going to try to.
But while they're not taking Xanax to get over it, they're going to try to kill him.
He's got the famous FU money. I can say that.
Sure does.
Yes.
Sure does.
Yeah. One day I will.
Greg Gutfeld, you are the best of the best. It's our first live tweet, really. It's tremendous stuff. How many more people have followed the tweet?
Let me see.
Just before you
I love how I don't know if you could figure that one out, but we can take a look.
It's terrific stuff.
Yeah, this is riveting television. But I guarantee you people got the tweet and came over here to watch us.
That's the best.
How's that?
Best. Greg Gutfeld. At the best, the best. You can catch Greg weekdays on the 5 at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then on Gutfeld at 11 p.m. on Fox News. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure, as always.